to the Elusive Truth with Rich and sometimes Larry. Larry was going to be on the show this week, and he had some information, intel as he likes to call it, from his buddies in Arizona. And just like that, it'll have to be next week. Next week, we'll hear from Larry. Hopefully he's got some good news, because it's getting crazier and crazier in clown world, as you can all can tell. Is Trump being arrested? Maybe next week, next month, who knows? Biden, yep, he's still around. And the Ukraine and all sorts of crazy stuff are still happening. High gas prices, high interest rates, more layoffs. 2023 it's a doozy so far, folks. So with that, remember last week? Banks. That was the big talk. These collapsing banks, and we were told not to fear. The federal government is here to save the day and keep everybody's money happy. Well, it turns out that banks are the least of our problems right now. I heard of BlackRock? Vanguard? Well, I always thought that they owned a lot of things, but wow. Wait till you find out what they own and how much they own. New World Order, here we come. This informative piece comes from Be Inspired. The piece is called, They Own Everything, the Most Powerful Company in the World. I was very surprised. Have a listen.
We've kind of gotten used to BlackRock beating the numbers, beating expectations.
BlackRock is by far the largest, with roughly a 35% market share of domestic market.
Who is the most powerful man in the world? Some may say it is the President of the United States. Others may side with corporate America and deem the likes of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk to be more powerful. But there is someone else. It is likely you have never heard of BlackRock. In less than 30 years, this company has grown from nothing to becoming the world's largest asset manager. The assets in the roster exceed the value of $9 trillion, and their net worth is equal to half of America's GDP. Clearly, they do not need a name in the mainstream media to be successful, or, in fact, own and control the entire world. But who are they? What do they do? And how does this one company in America influence every industry and sector in the world? Let's begin with who they are. BlackRock was founded in 1988 by Larry Fink, along with Robert Capito, Susan Wagner, Barbara Novick, Ben Golub, Hugh Frater, Ralph Schlosstein, and Keith Anderson. Its aim was to provide corporations with asset management services to help them manage their risks and investments. The idea came when Fink, during his time in First Boston, lost $100 million as its head. That experience became the motivation for him to develop what he and the others considered to be excellent risk management and fiduciary practices. BlackRock first got its funding from Pete Peterson of the Blackstone Group. Fink's company then essentially became an arm of Blackstone, and it was called Blackstone Financial Management. In exchange for a 50% stake in the bond business, Blackstone gave Fink and his team a $5 million credit line. Within months, the business turned profitable. And by 1989, the group's assets had quadrupled to $2.7 billion. Blackstone's stake in Fink's company then fell to just 40%, as opposed to the 60% held by Fink and his group. The firm adopted the name BlackRock in 1992, and by the end of that year, BlackRock was managing $17 billion in assets. By the end of 1994, they were handling $53 billion. Sometime later that same year, Fink became the chairman and CEO of BlackRock Inc. The company went public in 1999 at just $14 a share on the New York Stock Exchange. And by the end of that year, they were handling $165 billion in assets. BlackRock grew both organically and by acquisitions, and in 2004, they made their first significant acquisition, buying State Street Research and Management's holding company, SSRM Holding Inc., from MetLife for $325 million in cash and $50 million in stock. And this was only the beginning. We are aware, to some extent, that a handful of mega corporations and private investment companies dominate every aspect of our lives. What we watch, eat, drink, wear, buy, and go is all dictated. It is all less of a personal choice and more what is fed to us by corporations. All of these investment firms are so enormous that they control the money flow worldwide. While there appear to be hundreds of competing brands on the market, the truth is, larger parent companies actually own multiple smaller brands, like Russian nesting dolls. PepsiCo, for example, owns a long list of food, beverage, and snack brands, as does Coca-Cola, Nestle, General Mills, Unilever, Mars, Kraft Heinz, and Associated British Foods. Together, these parent companies monopolize the packaged food industry, as virtually every food brand available belongs to one of them. These companies are publicly traded and are run by boards, where the largest shareholders have power over the decision-making. And here is where it gets interesting, because when you look up who the largest shareholders are, you find yet another monopoly. While the topmost shareholders can change from time to time based on shares bought and sold, two companies are consistently listed among the top institutional holders of these parent companies: the Vanguard Group Inc. and BlackRock Inc. The same ownership trend exists in industries besides food and beverage. If you're planning a family vacation and using your laptop, phone, or tablet to research ticket prices and hotel stay, your go-to would probably be a site like Skyscanner, Booking.com, Airbnb, or Expedia, which provides you with all the information you need in one convenient place. Well, both of these companies are owned by BlackRock. You book your vacation and are set to fly, most likely with American Airlines, Air France, KLM, United Airlines, Delta, or Transavia, all of which BlackRock has a stake in. Even if you are not flying with any of these airlines, BlackRock still owns a percentage of Boeing and Airbus, two of the largest aircraft manufacturers in the world. If you arrive at your hotel and choose to write a review of your stay on TripAdvisor, you would be using a service also partly owned by BlackRock, and their power goes much further. The kerosene that fuels the plane comes from one of their many oil companies and refineries, and the steel that makes the plane also comes from their mines. The agricultural sector is not exempt from this either. BlackRock owns Bayer, the world's largest seed producer, along with some of the largest textile manufacturing plants and clothing companies. In addition to that, BlackRock has a stake in solar panel producing companies, major drug companies, and the scientific institutes and labs that fund drug studies. Places where you shop, from malls and department stores to Amazon and AliExpress, are owned by BlackRock. If you choose not to shop with them and support smaller local businesses, you are still supporting BlackRock when you use your credit card or any digital mode of payment to pay for your goods and services. Insurance companies, banks, construction companies, telephone companies, restaurants, personal care brands, and makeup brands are all in their sizable portfolio. In virtually every major company, you find BlackRock among the top 10 institutional investors. With its massive reach, BlackRock is essentially the fourth branch of government, influencing policies and decisions and even lending money to the central bank and Federal Reserve.
In past times of crisis, the Federal Reserve System has asked BlackRock for help managing funds.
But it's not abnormal for the Fed to be buying services from companies.
The 2008 financial crisis had the New York Federal Reserve leader Timothy Geithner ask BlackRock for help to manage the distressed assets Bear Stearns and AIG. In an echo of 2008, the Fed once again relied on BlackRock to stabilize the bond market amid the economic turmoil caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The details of the arrangement were not revealed, including how much BlackRock would be paid for their services. But it was undoubtedly a lucrative undertaking for the company, not to mention that they would also be in a position to profit from the advice they gave.
In the following months, the central bank purchased trillions of dollars in various assets and debts, including corporate bonds. BlackRock was tapped to manage this portion of the purchases.
BlackRock, of course, has used the central bank and the Fed's dependence on them to grow even further. This power has allowed Larry Fink to become a billionaire oligarch, holding incredible power, not just in America, but all over the world. If the company and Larry Fink hold such power, why is it that you have not heard of them more? There is power in anonymity. If BlackRock is barely featured in print publications and news channels, it is because they want it to be so. If they wanted, they could feature every day. BlackRock currently owns 18% of Fox, 16% of CBS, and 13% of Comcast, which in turn owns NBC, MSNBC, and Sky. If any of those companies wanted to make a decision, they would have to also consult with BlackRock before doing so. The same is true for Google, a tech giant currently worth $853 billion. Amazon, Facebook, and Twitter are also not exempt, and neither is Disney. Thanks to their incredibly diverse investment portfolio in media alone, BlackRock essentially owns 90% of the world's media. If you don't know about them, it's because they don't want you to. Why? Owning a portion of the world doesn't come without its share of scandal or conflict. In August 2020, BlackRock became the first foreign company to be allowed into China's mutual fund industry, which means they can now invest and own parts of Chinese companies, including ones that are blacklisted by the United States. One of the first investments made by BlackRock was in Hikvision, a security and communications firm that essentially makes facial recognition software for use by the Chinese government. But this money isn't just BlackRock's or Larry Fink's. It comes from pension funds and bank accounts of ordinary civilians who have unknowingly given money to BlackRock in the past. If we take into account BlackRock's ownership over Western media, banks, e-commerce stores, social media, food and beverages, and many, many more industries, it becomes evident that the company has a wealth of data on us, and they may do with it what they please. TikTok's data harvesting pales in comparison to what BlackRock is capable of, given how they have everything from our bank account numbers to our personal tastes and preferences. As BlackRock's investment in China grows, so will China's influence on the world, and our personal data, which was hanging on a thread to begin with, will quickly end up in the wrong hands. With the trajectory BlackRock has been on, it seems their influence will only grow as they acquire more and more of the world to control. If such is the case, we are headed into a dystopian world where corporations have more power than governments, and things like voting and freedom of speech have less power than investment boards. What is the escape from this reality?
Holy Tuesdays. What are we going to do? They own everything. They have their hand in everything. Crazy. If you want to learn more and see more about this, go on YouTube, look for Be Inspired, and pull this up. It visually might help you more because they said a lot in that 7 minutes. Unbelievable. BlackRock is incredibly powerful. They will run everyone's lives in the world. They own the banks. They are the banks. They have that much money and influence, and they're only getting bigger. So, a lot to think about. For my next piece, it's BlackRock 2023, Economic Collapse Will Bring a New World Order In. This is from the Stoic Finance. Check him out as well. He's got a lot of stuff on finance because I know nothing about this stuff. This is beyond my comprehension, sad to say. But the nice thing about this piece on YouTube, it comes with a Wikipedia banner. The New World Order is a conspiracy theory that hypothesizes a secretly emerging totalitarian government. So, this piece is nothing to see here. Look the other way. Don't believe this. So have a listen. You might learn something or get more confused.
BlackRock is the largest financial institution in the world, controlling $10 trillion worth of assets and with a global presence across 30 different countries. In addition to that, it runs a program called Aladdin, which analyzes and tracks investors' portfolios, and through that, it helps to manage a further $21.6 trillion. It absolutely dominates this space and has in recent years been hiring and scooping up as many government officials as they can, even including senior advisors to multiple presidents. Despite all this, 99% of people in the world can't even tell you who Larry Fink, the founder and CEO of BlackRock, is or what he looks like. It's no wonder then that there are many different theories regarding the extent of control BlackRock has over the world, and when BlackRock comes out and says that we're about to see a new world order emerge, everyone with even half a brain cell will listen. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, BlackRock released their 2023 Global Investment Outlook, which explains exactly what's going on now and what's going to happen over the next year. The subtext is clear throughout the piece: a new playbook, a new regime playing out, and even a new world order. We're going to find out exactly what is happening and why no one is talking about it. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to the Daily Upside for partnering with us on this video. Check out the link in the description to sign up for their free newsletter. So what exactly is BlackRock claiming to be happening right now? Well, by all accounts, they seem to think things really are going to change over the next decade, and it won't look anything like the last few decades of low interest rates and high growth in the economy. They call it a new regime that is shaped by supply, with markets and economies struggling to adapt to changing demand in the post-COVID environment. Essentially, they think the days of PlayStation 5s being sold out, new cars selling the second they hit the dealership, and speculation on luxury goods like Rolex watches continue, as these businesses are simply not able to increase supply in order to match their demand. There are a number of reasons for this, like the continued disruptions to supply chains in China, but also there's the global worker shortage, as aging populations are starting to dominate all over the world, and that means fewer workers going forward as well. Take a look at the demographic collapse in countries like Japan, China, and Italy, all countries which have strong manufacturing bases, and you will instantly be able to see the declining working age populations and the fundamental problem. This means that by increasing supply, a business also increases inflationary pressures, as there will be increased demand for capital for warehouses or factories, and even employees. This is why, in BlackRock's opinion, inflation has remained high long after the COVID pandemic itself has ended, as the supply chain crisis has never truly resolved itself, and BlackRock think this isn't going to end either. They're noting that central banks are trying to brute force inflation down by hammering demand with interest rate hikes and quantitative easing, but that this is a brutal trade-off because it will result in a recession. These central banks just simply don't have the tools to impact supply to improve inflation that way, so they've resorted to just hammering demand instead, and this, according to BlackRock, means that a recession is foretold, and that evidence of this is starting to emerge. To make matters worse, there are also two other factors that will ensure inflation remains high for the foreseeable future. The first is that geopolitical tensions are rising, and this is impacting supply chains. For evidence of this, look no further than the new Cold War between the East and the West, characterized by the obvious Russian invasion of Ukraine and the West's response, but also in smaller and less obvious tit-for-tat exchanges like the US restrictions imposed against Chinese microchip exports. Then, BlackRock are also predicting the global transition to net zero will cause inflation as well, as energy supply and demand is not balanced, and this has already led to spike in energy prices. Again, we've already seen plenty of evidence for this, with the energy crisis that has resulted in global oil prices rising high and staying high, and electricity prices all over the world increasing as well. In short, BlackRock thinks sustained high inflation is here to stay. It won't sit at 10% in the US and Europe forever, but by the time it is dragged down, kicking and screaming to 4 or 5%, a worldwide recession will already be in full swing, and central banks will lose their nerve, halt their rate hikes, and inflation will persist. As BlackRock so eloquently put it, our bottom line, what worked in the past won't work now. Now, before we get on with the rest of this video, let me quickly tell you about this video's sponsor, The Daily Upside. It's gotten pretty hard to find unbiased yet insightful news sources these days, especially when it comes to investing, but thankfully, The Daily Upside is here to solve that problem. It's a free daily financial newsletter written by a team of financial experts who are unhappy with legacy media, and almost 1 million investors wake up with The Daily Upside in their inbox every single day. They focus on explaining the most important news that every investor needs to know, and they also go in depth on specific pieces as well. Just last week, they published this piece delving into the most recent CPI release for the US, keeping you up to date on everything you need to stay informed. 2023 is looking like it's going to be an incredibly turbulent year for all investors, but the Daily Upside are here to guide us through and make sure we know exactly what's going on. The Daily Upside is a totally free business newsletter that was founded by a team of investment bankers with real industry experience. It's just one email sent out to you every morning, and I've personally been reading it for over a year now. So if you want to be better clued up on the markets tomorrow, then sign up to the Daily Upside today using the link down below in the description. Again, that's the Daily Upside with the link down below in the description. As BlackRock themselves have built this, there is a new world order emerging, and many people will be wondering just how we are supposed to react to this news. Should we throw caution to the wind and continue to invest in speculative and risky assets like cryptocurrency? Or should we maybe go the route of Bill Gates and buy up as much farmland as we can possibly muster? Well, it's here that we have to take what BlackRock tells us with a grain of salt, as we never know what really goes on behind the scenes, but they have laid out their plan to profit, to make money, and to grow as this new world order starts to take over. We already know that BlackRock are expecting a recession to come, and what so often follows a recession? Well, a stock market crash, of course, and that's if you don't consider the S&P 500 falling by over 25% and the Nasdaq falling by 35% at their worst points, a crash already. BlackRock are saying that it's going to get worse though, and stock markets are going to continue to fall throughout 2023 because the recession has hardly even started yet, and it's going to keep getting worse. They're pointing to leading indicators like cratering home sales, deteriorating CEO confidence, and consumer savings decreasing as evidence of this recession, but really, the evidence doesn't even stop there. BlackRock is saying that corporate earnings are going to get hammered during this recession, and the markets haven't priced this in at all, which seems to be echoing exactly what the infamous investor Michael Burry has been saying for months now. As a recession hasn't yet been priced into the markets, not even a mild one, then when it actually happens, the only direction stocks will go is downwards, and 2022 will likely look tame for risk on assets. Stocks then clearly aren't the place to be throwing your life savings right now, and BlackRock knows it. Now, bonds have historically held a place in many investors' portfolios, and for years that has also been true for BlackRock and their recommendations. After all, they provide a consistent and reliable return and are backed by the stability of our governments. BlackRock, though, are changing how they think about bonds and are actually shunning long-term government bonds, as historically they've been used to shield an investor from recessions, as when stocks would go down, bonds would go up, but over recent years we've seen them move in the same direction together. As they think that stocks will continue to go down, that means they expect bonds to go down as well. Instead of this, they're looking more at short-term bonds, accepting the slightly larger risk in exchange for a higher yield, and inflation-linked bonds for obvious reasons. Outside of that, BlackRock is going a direction that really isn't even available to most of us. They're buying up investment-grade credit and mortgage-backed securities. Maybe it's a good thing these options aren't available to us, as BlackRock themselves are predicting a downturn in the housing market, and we all know what happened to mortgage-backed securities when that happened back in 2006. If you do insist on buying stocks, BlackRock say healthcare, energy, and financials are the way to go, but the final few pages of their global market outlook reads almost exactly like a pitch for new clients. They claim a new strategic approach is needed, one that adapts quickly to changes in the macro environment and our economies, as opposed to the previous investment craze of just chucking in a few $100s into an S&P 500 index fund every single month, and it's here that we need to be especially careful. BlackRock is first and foremost a business, and that business has a fiduciary duty to maximize its profits at the expense of everyone and everything else in the world. If Larry Fink knows of a way to make more money and he chooses not to move the company in that direction, he can literally be sued for failing to uphold his duties to the company itself. Questions have to be asked about this 2023 outlook that they've released, not only about its contents, but about its aims as well. The final few pages go into detail about why only BlackRock can guarantee strong returns into the future, as only they truly understand what's happening. The solution to all our investment woes is apparently just investing into some of BlackRock's active funds that move quickly and work hard to make their investors money, but these active funds also work hard to make themselves money as well. How much does BlackRock make for every $1,000 invested into one of their passive investing funds every year? 30 cents. How much do they make when you invest the same amount into an active fund instead? They make 23 times as much. It's no wonder then that they want us to believe the only way forward is their active funds that only they can run, as it makes them money. There's also the massive issue of BlackRock's power itself, with numerous people all over the world claiming that BlackRock is secretly pulling the strings, acting as puppet master to government businesses and people, and that we simply can't trust what they say. Many claim that BlackRock are merely custodians of those assets and that they hold basically no power, but that didn't stop them from ousting 3 board members from ExxonMobil and replacing them with the people they wanted to run the business. BlackRock even tried to do the exact same thing to Elon Musk with Tesla back in 2018, but they were stopped because Elon owned enough of the company to shoot them down. This is despite the fact that BlackRock don't even own a single share of either of these companies. They merely hold on to those shares on behalf of their customers, but for some reason they think they should have the customers' voting rights as well. One of BlackRock's worst crimes is the growth and propagation of their ESG investing scheme, which allows BlackRock to decide seemingly at random which companies are environmental, which ones are good for society, and which ones abide by strong governance principles. And if these companies don't fit their arbitrary and completely random standards, then they're blacklisted from trillions of dollars of potential investments. Which companies do BlackRock think are worthy of our money? Well, FTX was apparently well-governed and very trustworthy, ExxonMobil is great for the environment, and Coca-Cola is helping to make our society more healthy. All that being said, I do think BlackRock are right about their fundamental view of the global economy going forward. The evidence proves that populations are aging and fewer people are working. Geopolitical tensions have exploded, and that is threatening supply chains with new developments every single day. And the shift towards a sustainable economy is without a doubt going to cost the world trillions. Inflation will, in my opinion, remain high, likely within the 4 to 8% mark for the foreseeable future, which is something I've been warning about for well over a year now. But just because BlackRock are right about that, it doesn't mean that they should be trusted with your money, it doesn't mean they're the only possible way of making your investments work for you either, and it doesn't mean that you should trust them or throw your lot in with them when they claim to know the secrets behind the New World Order. Finally, just before I sign off here today, I'd like to give one last thank you to the Daily Upside for making this video possible. Make sure to go and check them out using the link down below in the description. And until next time, stay stoic.
I purposely left the advertisement of the Daily Upside in this piece. I trust them more than MSNBC any time of the day. I'm telling you, this stuff is crazy. You just heard it. Do you understand how important this is? You need to start looking into this and figuring out how to position yourself and your family into a better existence in the near future, because it's going to get a lot tougher and money is going to be a thing of the past. We're going to that digital currency, the New World Order. You heard it before. You hear it all the time. You really need to take care of yourselves. I mean, Biden says inflation is at its lowest since it's ever been recorded. And since he's been president, there's been more jobs created than any other president in the history of the United States. And he means it, if he can remember it. But I'm telling you, so have full faith of the government. Everything's going to be fine. Go about your business, and they're going to take care of us. They're going to take good care of us because we're good American citizens, just like they take care of the illegal immigrants crossing our borders every day. I mean, they're taking care of them. They're going to start taking care of us. That's crazy. Seriously, folks, you really need to start figuring stuff out. This is a wake-up call. I'll have another piece next week on the housing market. Apparently, that is going to crash, and that's going to be the kickoff, so to speak, of all this going on. We already have high inflation. We already have layoffs. I mean, it's falling. It's like it is. It's a plan. And we need to start figuring things out, because I don't think Donald Trump is going to be able to fix this entire thing. I mean, he's not as rich as Elon Musk, and Elon Musk has a ton of money, but apparently he's nothing compared to the people that run Vanguard and BlackRock. Not even close. Got to change the subject a little bit because we got to keep moving on. Elon Musk, who is he? I hear so much about him, and we know about Twitter, and I personally kind of like him. I think he's doing good for us, and he made Twitter better, in my opinion. And again, I know nothing about Twitter. I don't even go on Twitter. So, I mean, I'm not you can't take my word for it. Elon Musk, BBC News. Who is Elon Musk? Let's have a listen. This is what the media wants you to think about Elon Musk. Have a listen.
February the 6th, 2018. Elon Musk launches the world's most powerful active rocket, catapults his Tesla sports car into space, and vertically lands 2 of the rocket boosters simultaneously. For most engineers, this extraordinary feat would be the pinnacle of their career. But for Elon Musk, it was just a Tuesday.
It's really crazy that we build these sophisticated rockets and then crash them every time we fly. This is mad.
When he's not launching rockets, the entrepreneur can be found running a futuristic electric car company, selling flamethrowers plotting a super-fast underground transport system for Los Angeles, and even offering assistance in foreign emergencies. It's perhaps no wonder Elon Musk was a source of inspiration for Robert Downey Jr.'s billionaire business magnate come superhero, Tony Stark. Born in South Africa to a Canadian mother and a South African father, Musk was a voracious reader, and age 9 even turned to the Encyclopedia Britannica when he'd run out of books. An unusual, introverted child, he was bullied, once so severely that he was hospitalized for a week. But this didn't hinder his pursuit of knowledge. By the age of 10, he'd taught himself computer programming. By 12, he'd made a video game and sold it to a magazine for $500. You can still play Blastar online. Musk's empire began in 1999, when he and his brother Kimball sold their software company, which provided city business guides to newspapers. Aged just 27, Musk reinvested his $22 million windfall into X.com, a company which promised to revolutionize how we transfer money. A company you may now know as PayPal. When eBay acquired PayPal in 2002, Musk took home $165 million. Without taking a moment to catch his breath, the young entrepreneur turned his gaze upwards and set up Space Exploration Technologies, or SpaceX, with a mission statement of enabling people to live on other planets.
You want to do projects that are inspiring and that make people excited about the future. Life's got to be about more than just solving problems. You want to get up in the morning and say, yes, I'm looking forward to that thing happening.
2 years later, he directed his disruptive thinking to renewable energy, and in 2004 set up the electric car company Tesla.
All transport, with the exception of rockets, will go fully electric. I see the value of Tesla as a catalyst in that transition.
Musk's most desperate moments came in 2008, when SpaceX suffered a third rocket crash, and Tesla's rising costs threatened to ruin the firm. That's not to mention an episode of Top Gear, which Tesla said damaged sales.
Clarkson's show is much more about entertainment than it is about truth. Like, his two pet peeves are American cars and electric cars, and we're an American electric car, so we're...
SpaceX scraped through, thanks to a new government contract. As for Tesla, some last-minute financing and a $465 million government loan helped it survive. But even today, questions about profitability loom over the company, which has lost billions of dollars. Musk himself is no stranger to controversy. His baseless allegations against a Thai cave rescuer sparked a libel case, and his 2018 tweet about taking Tesla private and a very public but legal toke of marijuana on a YouTube podcast displayed his somewhat cavalier attitude towards shareholders. But the future does look exciting, as the eccentric engineer plans the first moon journey by humans since 1972 with billionaire passenger Yusaku Maezawa. And this is really just another stepping stone to Musk's ultimate goal, to reach and colonize Mars and beyond, a plan which he says could happen as soon as 2024.
Either we are a multi-planet species and out there exploring the stars, or we are a single-planet species waiting around for some eventual extinction event. It's really that I personally I find more motivating. Going and setting up a base on Mars would just be the greatest adventure ever.
Well, golly, a real modern-day Iron Man. That's for sure. And Twitter owner, and he's doing good things with Twitter. I mean, what can't be wrong with Elon Musk? He certainly is one of the good guys, right? Well, got a piece here. Oh, my goodness. This clip is from a longer interview with the London Real. David Icke, why the cult sold Twitter to Elon Musk. David Icke explains, and there's a much longer interview, over an hour long, and I guess it really starts hammering on Elon, what he really is. So here's just a quick little bit on why Elon Musk actually was sold Twitter from these evil people, as you'll find out. Have a listen.
You have this agenda to censor everybody who's challenging the narrative. So we see this with Google owned YouTube, Facebook, all these companies. And we saw it with Twitter. Twitter was censoring people like crazy because Twitter was a cult company, just like Facebook is. Look at the background to Facebook and Google and see who was involved. People like DARPA, the technological development arm of the Pentagon. and CIA through IQT or InQtel, their technological development arm for surveillance technology, the CIA. So the cult's got Twitter, and it's doing exactly what it wants Twitter to do, which is to censor. And then along comes free speech absolutist, you're not, Elon Musk, to buy Twitter. Then he decides, after announcing it, that, well, actually, there's too many bots or all this stuff, so I'm not buying it. Twitter, owned by the cult that he's censoring like crazy on behalf of the cult, then takes Musk to court to force him to buy it. And he comes in, he who's ticking every other box of the cult's agenda with his companies, comes in and takes it over. Why would the cult sell Twitter to Musk if Musk really is about free speech? And what I would say to people is take a breath and watch how this plays out. Because one of the possible scenarios, I'll just give it as a possible scenario, is that he starts apparently giving free speech to some people that were banned, not me, it seems, or Alex Jones and people like that. And then the regulators kick in. And like the EU's already saying it, and justifying new draconian laws to censor free speech on the internet, using the excuse that we've got to stop Twitter allowing people to say what they think, at least up to a point. And like I say, after 33 years of experience of doing this, unless you absolutely know, because of what you've researched before, that something's like this, hold your fire and just see where it goes. And I'll be very interested where this goes, because Twitter, taken over by Musk to give people free speech, given his background and the Twitter's background before of ownership by the cult, makes no sense whatsoever on the basis of that's what he's going to do for that reason.
All I can say is we need to do more research. Maybe the onion is unraveling. Hard to say. But if you do look up Tesla and go to holders, you will see BlackRock and Vanguard do have a stake in Elon Musk's business ventures. Just pointing out, again, we need to start looking into this and coming together. This is way too important. It's going to affect our kids, the rest of the world. Well, enough of the doom and gloom. I want to end the show with hopefully something funny here. It's called Closure. You can find them on YouTube. Simpsons predictions for 2023. Isn't that crazy? We got these predictions that come true from a cartoon that's been around for hundreds of years. And I'm telling you, clown world, 100%. Let's have a laugh. Let's see what the Simpsons have to say. Closure. Simpsons predictions 2023.
Simpsons predictions for 2023 is unbelievable. Ever since mankind first appeared on the Earth, curious individuals have been attempting to divine the future. From the mysterious Baba Vanga to the Mayans, even the Simpsons have made prophecies that will give you shivers. The long-running series is renowned for having garnered a reputation for accurately predicting the future. The television show has been successful for more than 3 decades because of a devoted audience that is immersed in the characters of Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. As a result of the fact that The Simpsons have, in the past, accurately anticipated events such as tiger attacks and the election of Donald Trump as president, many people now pay close attention to the show's future forecasts. So without further ado, here are the forecasts for 2023. Inflation crisis. This forecast, which is reportedly for the year 2023, may come as a surprise to you. Despite the fact that we are all well aware of the current situation with gas prices and the rising expense of living, Homer is told by a guy that anarchy and the end of civilization are coming shortly to a country near you in America. Homer gives his response saying, "America can't fail because we're just as strong as ancient Rome." The viewer is presented with a film in which the following statement is made: "The contemporary world is an unstoppable march of development." The video continues after Homer says, "Delicious," and then asks, "Or is it we're slaves to the system? Shut the grocery and we starve?" Then cards with phrases like "no local farming," "peak oil," "Ben Bernanke," "solar flares," 17-year cicadas, and "dangerous troll" start to emerge. Homer continues by saying, "Oh my gosh, this film with no citations and no date has persuaded me beyond any reasonable question." Homer receives reassurance from the man who says to him, "I'm the person you want to know when the stuff hits the fan." Nuclear conflict between the United States and China. Another prediction is a nuclear conflict. It would seem that The Simpsons have predicted that there would be a nuclear war between the United States and China in the year 2023. In one of their episodes, you can hear a news presenter stating, "It is with great regret that I notify you that the United States of America and China have declared war on one another. It is anticipated that a big nuclear strike will arrive on our beaches within the next hour. Trump as President of the United States in 2024. The program takes its ability to predict the future to a whole new level in the episode Bart to the Future from the year 2000, when it names Donald Trump as having served as President of the United States. During the course of the episode, Lisa holds the office of President. We overhear her speaking when she is in the Oval Office, and she says, "As you are aware, we've inherited quite a financial problem from President Trump. Trump was inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States in the year 2017, and also very possible in the year 2024. The Simpsons predict public health and safety fears are rising. The information relating to the 2023 Resident Evil forecast made by the cartoon series The Simpsons has recently burst on social media platforms both in the United States and internationally. It is suggested in episode 4 of season 21 of The Simpsons that in the year 2023, the Springfield Burger restaurant, which is where the show's main setting is based, would create a new beef burger. This beef burger was made using a totally different way from the traditional one. First, the excellent beef is ground up and mixed with other ingredients to form feed, which is then given to the cattle. Next, the beef that comes from the cattle that were fed the same sort of meat throughout their development is used to manufacture hamburger meat. After trying the brand new beef burger, a reporter began to extol its delicious qualities. However, the reporter suddenly went insane and began biting other people. As a result, the whole town quickly descended into insanity and the majority of the population turned into zombies. After it was revealed that Bart was born with antibodies to the virus and the remaining survivors reliant on drinking Bart's bathwater to live, the Resident Evil dilemma was resolved by Bart, the son of the Simpsons character Homer Simpson. It should come as no surprise that this serial animation of The Simpsons is itself a work that depicts reality in a tone that is ludicrous. The majority of the information included in each episode of the animation has been thoroughly deliberated over by the show's producers as well as content industry specialists. Therefore, despite the fact that some of the information can seem to be absurd, it is in fact substantiated by real-world occurrences or proof. For instance, utilizing beef as feed for cattle is something that really happens in the real world. Some individuals have been toying with the concept of using the flesh as feed in order to improve the protein level of the feed in order to make the animal's meat taste better. This is possible since the cost of rearing animals in the West is quite affordable. Prions, which were eventually referred to as mad cow disease, were disseminated across the animal planet as a result of the increased usage of animal feed. Due to prions degrading brain tissue, animals and people afflicted with mad cow disease will exhibit symptoms like irritability, short temper, and extreme hostility. In this respect, they are very similar to the depictions of zombies seen in films and on television. Therefore, The Simpsons are less of a forecast for the year 2023 and more of an outrageous creative portrayal of actual events that have occurred throughout history. Ukraine crisis. 1998 was the year that The Simpsons-tide, the 19th episode of Season 9 of The Simpsons, had its debut. During the course of the episode, a delegate from each nation attended a United Nations meeting where they discussed the respective nations' future intentions. The envoy from Russia said that they wanted the other nations to believe that the Soviet Union was in the past. This remark was made by the Russian representative. After then, there were some shots showing the flag of the Soviet Union being hoisted along with some troops queuing up. It is claimed that this terrible forecast was the most recent one that came true in the year 2022. 2014 was the year when Russia officially took control of Crimea, and in February 2022, Russia launched an invasion of Ukraine and began conducting airstrikes on Ukrainian residents. The showrunner for The Simpsons noted that this forecast is not comparable to some of the show's trivial predictions, but rather comes from the continuous conflicts that have been present throughout history. Elon Musk. In Treehouse of Horror 33, the cartoon family lives in a version of Westworld in which the employees of the amusement park utilize a Cybertruck to transport broken robots to a facility where they may be repaired. Monorail Homer becomes caught in an endless loop of a catchphrase, and the humanoid robot has to be turned off by flipping a switch on his nose. After that, he is hurled into the cargo area of a Cybertruck. The next episode, titled Not It, will include more of Tesla's time spent in Springfield. A white Model X may be seen on screen for a brief period of time during the show's humorous retelling of Stephen King's It, which only lasts a few seconds. In episode 716 of The Simpsons, which airs in December 2021, Fit Fat Tony is revealed to be Maggie's godfather and provides the Simpson family with a lease on a Lexus SUV. After some time has passed, Bart is seen tinkering with the Falcon doors. There was also a cameo of the Tesla Roadster in an episode of The Simpsons. In the 5th episode of the 32nd season, a red Roadster is seen parked in front of the estate that belongs to Leonardo DiCaprio. Despite the obvious mistake, the automobile was connected to the outlet on the right side of the vehicle. The Model S has also made an appearance in the program. In order to avoid having to pay for power, Mr. Burns owns a Model S, which he charges at the residence of Richard Branson. Additionally, Krusty the Clown has a Model S. He hangs out the window and attacks Homer while using autopilot as his support. Who among us could ever forget the episode? During the episode from season 26, when Tesla's CEO landed in Homer's garden and the two quickly became friends, he provided his own voiceover for the show. Bart and Lisa decided to take Elon's vehicle for a joyride, and in order to activate FSD, they enter the password Musk Rules. The play, however, takes an unexpected turn when Mr. Burns makes a plot to murder Musk. Since it is well known that The Simpsons has a knack for predicting the future, we may assume that in 2023, when the Cybertruck has been seen driving about in Springfield, it will be available for mass manufacturing in the real world. And that's it.
Well, holy crap. I'm getting older because I didn't find that funny at all. I remember watching The Simpsons and laughing and what's going on here? That wasn't funny. Oh my goodness. All right, let's find something on a positive note and higher frequency and a vibration of love or something to end this show because, Clown World. Okay, I'm going to play you a little piece from James Gilliland from SETI. He has a As You Wish talk radio titled Earth Changes. It was on a couple days ago. We haven't heard from him in a while. Apparently he's been in Hawaii. He has a place here in Washington. It's beautiful. It's amazing. You heard Larry and I talk about it before. We have James. He's going to give us a clearing to help us feel better. And I'm telling you, if you just take a few minutes, close your eyes, breathe, listen to what he has to say, you'll feel a little better. You will. You'll get kind of detuned or re-energized. Your frequencies will be more tolerable. And again, it's a chance to understand yourself a little bit. So sit back, relax, and listen to James from SETI. Have a listen.
They don't realize they're being influenced by these. You're going to see it replete throughout the UFO community, which has gone into total division right now. So the wars, between the posers and the authentic are in full force. And it's funny, even though we've kind of backed out of that, it's still happening. We're still being tried, they're trying to pull us into it, and we're just staying out of it. Those on the wrong side of the fence are going to take the downward spiral, and it's all going to come out who they really are and what their real agendas are. And a lot of people are very, very wounded, and they have hitchhikers, and it's not necessarily their fault. They're doing the best they can, but they just need to get these things off their back and get back to being authentic. And your authentic self is God, basically. So the temple is within, and the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness on all planes and dimensions is within each and every one of you. And so we need to access that, make our own personal connection with Source. And you're going to have a lot of benevolent ETs along the way. They're going to try to help you, and the masters and everybody else. But you're going to have some other beings that are going to come in and do their best to hijack or divert you from your awakening, healing, or your ascension. So just be aware of that. In India, they say that the closer you get to nirvana, the more the demons rear their ugly heads. And we're in that phase right now, because there are some very nasty entities that are rearing their ugly heads. So don't take it personal. It's that's one of my things I'm working on. When people, try to pull the rug out from under you or attack you on any level, just go back to your center and focus on that love and joy and bliss within, and become one with it, and let them work it out. That's all you can do. You can't, that's the thing. You can't fix another person that isn't asking you for help. You can't change another person that doesn't want to change. You can't trespass on another person. All you can do is clear your own energies and, clear anything that's triggering in you. So it boils back to personal responsibility. If something's triggering you, if something's upsetting you, if you have judgments around something, you've got to go within and heal that, because, you're observing things through your filters, period. You're always observing things through your filters, and your filters might be a little primitive at times, even though you think you're on the right path, or the self-righteous journey, or whatever you want to call it. There's no self-righteousness or judgment when you're on the path. You're just there to help and serve, basically. And people, karma takes care of things. You don't have to worry about that. Let karma take its path, take its course. But anyway, that being said, a lot of people have asked me over and over again, can I do a clearing, or will I do a clearing for the show, and to show people how to do it. And again, you can go to the website at eseti.org, and there's a link, Healing Negative Influences. We have taught literally tens of thousands of people how to do these clearings. We've talked about them repeatedly on the show. It's in all of my books. The clearing and more in-depth discussion on the clearings. And so, it's very important to learn more about healing unseen negative influences, because a lot of your attitudes and your emotions aren't yours. They may be coming in from somewhere else. And so we have to learn how to set boundaries, shield ourselves, and clear any unseen negative influences. And you can help your friends and family too as well. So we're going through some really tough times right now. And the good news is this is the beginning of the end of these very, very dark corners that haven't been dealt with. And they're being dealt with, and they're coming out and just trying to create as much chaos on their way out. So again, there's going to be a lot of friends and family, a lot of people who need help during these times. And so we need to learn self-mastery. We need to learn how to clear our own fields and help other people clear their energies. So what I was going to do, if everybody wants to just kind of tap in for a minute, and we're going to do a clearing for anybody listening to this show, and for anybody connected to ESETI, anybody who just needs help, need a little clearing. This one's for you. So we're going to sit in and tap in for a minute. So take a few deep breaths. Get centered, and center into the heart, and focus on love and joy and bliss. Take another breath and let go of any of the trauma of the day, any interactions with friends, family, bosses, relatives. Just let it go. We're going to welcome all entities in love and light. We speak to you from the Lord God of our beings. You are healed and forgiven, lifted and enlightened. You're filled and surrounded in the Christ light and the Christ love. And we ask the beautiful many to take you to your perfect place. And if you don't come in the name of the Christ, we insist that you leave. We call upon the beautiful many, Yeshua ben Joseph, Mary, Babaji, Kuan Yin, Mary, all the House of Mary, all the beautiful many to assist us in this clearing. And we ask that all blockages, any darkness, any energies that are stuck in the body, any residual energies, be removed from every cell, every atom, every molecule, every organ, every bone, every tissue of our being, moving through our astral bodies, clearing up all past life karmas, unfinished business, moving into our etheric body, our blue body, where our divine blueprint, our whole and healthy perfect self resides. And we can move all the way up this vibrational continuum to the source itself, connecting with the Christ self, the I am self, the cosmic self. And then bring all that love and that joy and that bliss down through your crown, through your body, and send it out every direction, north, south, east, and west. And see it completely engulfing the planet. And you can send out golden energy, the white light, the rainbow energies, whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you're seeing with, just see them cleansing and healing, transmuting, and assisting Earth in the awakening healing process, the planetary liberation. And lastly, give thanks to all the beautiful many, the ascended masters, the spiritually and technologically advanced off-worlders, the benevolent guides, saints and sages, all participating in this event. Now take another few deep breaths. Just bring all this wonderful energy down through your crown, down through your body, through your legs, down into the earth, and just ground yourself fully into the earth. It's very important to ground. Take your shoes off, walk on the ground if you can. And recalibrate with the earth frequencies. And again, it's really important to give thanks for these energies. Thanks for the help. And the more we ask for help, the more we do this in unison, the more we gather around and do these clearings, the easier, more graceful this shift is going to happen. And, Babaji once said that people are going to be hit. Some people are going to be hit by it like a brick, because they're very dense and their frequencies are low. And some people are going to be hit with a feather when these energies come through. And there's no getting away from it. There's nowhere to hide. If you've got the whole earth is shifting in frequency, the whole system is shifting. This is a galactic event. So you can't hide from it. You can't build a bunker that's going to keep these energies out. You can't run away from your karma. I mean, how do you run away from your karma? It doesn't work. So you can shift your energies and start working for the highest and best good of humanity, the earth, and do Dharma yoga, they call it, and start helping others and shift your assets and your energies towards the awakening healing process, or you can hoard and hang on to everything in fear and manifest exactly what you fear. It's there's a lot of different ways of doing this. I would extremely strongly suggest taking the high road and focus on love and joy and bliss and service, and that'll help get you through these times. So
I hope that helps. Makes things a little bit better, because we do live in a really crazy world, and it's very trying at the times. With that, I want to thank you for looking for the elusive truth with me. Larry will be with us next week. Thank you, James, for that clearing. Hopefully that helped a lot more people. And again, folks, take care of yourselves. Take care of your neighbors. The only way we defeat this and move on to a better life is we have to work together, we have to be together, and we have to understand each other. This division stuff is not working. And with that, we will see you next week. We love you. Take care and keep looking for that elusive truth. Thank you. Bye-bye.